Swansea Sound, sounding excellent in session here on Six Music with Marking It Down. A couple more numbers to come in a short while, but and I hope you all enjoyed the multiple pastiches which were contained within that particular number, including the band themselves. They enjoyed them as well. The potted history of the band, obviously you've already hinted at the musical heritage, which from which you draw on this particular five musicians, but in terms of when you got together and started making music, it was a lockdown sort of thing going on?
It was. We are that modern cliche of a lockdown project. It's all Rob's fault over there on bass. So I used to be in a band called the Poo Sticks.
Indeed.
With Amelia was fully implicated in that.
Yeah.
And for a few years, Rob was saying he had a song which was Poo Sticky, which didn't fit into the catenary wires of. Mm-hmm. So he sent it to me during the sort of early dark days of lockdown, and I didn't really know what to do with it, so I just shouted a vocal into my iPhone, and sent it back, and then that sort of went from that one song, Angry Girl, into a whole album.
I see. So the Poo Sticky song that Rob had wasn't the Poo Sticks.
No, it was called Angry Girl.
Yeah, there you go. Because there's also a song from the first LP which is called the Poo Sticks, and there's a pattern here of being delightfully self-referential along the way. There
is. I mean, I think earlier off air I said to you that. So Rob was a bit of a TV writer. Well, he said he was a script editor in the bill. That's not quite the same as writing for the bill. So now I feel like he's writing songs for myself. That's how big my ego is. So.
Well, the hallmarks of what I'll clumsily call the Swansea Sound. There are, along the way, it's not just this, but there are songs about being in a band. There are songs about going to gigs. There are songs about record buying as well. It's almost as if, and Rob can chip in here, it's like you've got a couple of Levon Helms here and you're Robbie Robertson. You're writing for them to sing, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I do feel like I'm allowed to get away with it, really, because when we play live, I'm the only person without a microphone. So I can deny pretty much all responsibility for what I've done. But it is true, I'm lucky, because being able to write songs that Hugh and Amelia are going to sing, it means you can write duets that I really like doing. And I kind of know... Well, I know them both really well, so it's like I know what their characters are as well as what their voices sound like. So,
and you wrote a song about my dog.
I did actually. Yeah, there's a song.
Kenny.
There's a song called "I Don't Like Men in Uniform" on this new LP, which we're not going to do. But
but people can get hold of it. They can buy the thing and then they can listen to it themselves.
They can absolutely get hold of it on Bandcamp and in nice record shops.
Very good.
It's not on Spotify though.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Most of the LP
most of the songs are slagging Spotify off. So.
We did have a phase of slagging Spotify off, but we've kind of grown out of that a bit. But yeah, most of the LP still isn't on it. And anyway, that song is kind of about Hugh's got this really ancient dog. It's a Cairn Terrier called Kenny, who when he was young was really ferocious and would literally attack and bite men in uniform. But now, a bit like a lot of older men that I know who were once very angry and aggressive, he's not really quite capable of giving it the full.
It's the arthritis.
So
he's still angry, but he can't bite people anymore.
Well, it sounds like that's like the Swansea Sound version of Old Shep by Elvis, isn't
it? It's probably more moving than that.
Even more moving than Old Shep.
I think so.
Blimey, careful, everybody. Amelia, do you want to tell us about how this particular record was put together and where you did it? Was it a different approach this time?
It was a different approach in that we actually let Hugh use a microphone instead of singing the entire album into his phone. And we also allowed Ian to play real drums instead of playing what he called Sabutio drums, which was basically tapping away at a keyboard, which he had to do in the lockdown album on the grounds that he couldn't actually play drums in his flat without annoying the entire block. So yeah, it's a bit more properly done, but it was still recorded at home basically by us. So it's one day we might grow up into using a real studio, but it seems to be quite fun doing it this way.
I think one of the things about lockdown was that it made us remember where we came from, which is DIY indie, and we had no choice but to be DIY and indie again, and it's it's been really great.
We've learned to make videos. We've learned to do all these things, which is
We started a record label.
Known how to do.
Well, this is it fits in with what you're doing with Skepwax, on which this particular record appears, and plenty others have appeared so far. This was clearly a dream you had. How's that working out? Because I'm glad it's around Skepwax. I hope you are too.
Yeah, I think we have our feelings about it change. I mean, because we knew it's a lot of work. Me and Amelia, we were going to start a record label when we were first in the band Heavenly, but then luckily somebody else offered to put the records out, so we didn't do it. So it was a plan that was deferred for several years.
Quite a long time.
You spend quite a lot of time at the post office and doing really unglamorous things, but it is really nice being able to release other people's stuff, I must say.
Did you time your visits to the post office in such a way as to get around that? I'm guilty of once going towards our post office and seeing somebody ahead of me who had 3 packages and then speeding up slightly and overtaking before we got there.
I have learned that the very nearest post office to us is in a little village, and once I caused a queue of old people waiting to get their pensions.
Zero.
I've never heard so much tutting in my life. So now I can recommend the drop and go service.
Okay, are you ready to play a couple more numbers for us?
Yes. Try and stop us.
Okay.
This is a song. It's kind of for and about Pete Shelley, and it's called Far, Far Away.